This week on Performance TV, we shine a light on motorcycles and ATVs, because as Performance TV fans know, it's part show and a lot of go. Plus, a Corvette gets right and tight with Clamp Tight. Next!
Welcome to Performance TV. We've got a great show for you this week. Now we know, thanks to modern fuel injection, there's a lot of power to unlock, and we've learned it in LS and Coyote power plants, tunes in these high-performance muscle cars. Well, the same is true for UTVs, and Ryan is in the house from RVSperformance.com. That's what you guys specialize in. How does it work?
Well, it's the same thing as cars, technically. You got an ECU programmed with throttle controls, torque limiters, fuel, timing curves, all the same type of stuff as automotive technology at this point now. The EPA is locked down on these vehicles and started putting in emissions compliance and CAT converters and things like that in them, and the manufacturers are trying everything they can to get as much power out of them as possible. They've done the same thing as cars. There's fly-by-wire throttles, very high-tech fuel injection programming systems, O2 sensors, the whole mess. So companies like Dynajet, what they've done is they've come out with these little handheld programmers, very similar to the stuff you see in the diesel trucks and the car market. So these units will allow you to plug into the unit through your diagnostic port. You can reflash your ECU with custom programming that we supply and unlock the potential of your machine. So you can get more horsepower, more torque, better throttle response, overall drivability, cooler engine temperatures, just a much more fun and responsive vehicle.
When you're out there on the trails, you want to have a good time, and everybody has got a unique circumstance. Yep. Maybe you're going up and down hills. There's a lot of power in these engines that is untapped because they want to keep them within a tolerance. You untap that power and have a lot of experience doing it. How
Correct.
so?
We were actually one of the first companies on the market to figure out how to read and write these Polaris ECUs. Originally, we were doing them by physically removing them from the machine and cracking them open and making connections on the circuit board and rewriting them through a computer program on the bench. And we'd have customers from all over the country and eventually all over the world, as we developed our capability, that would mail us their ECUs. We would reprogram them and mail them back. Units like this now have made that need pretty much obsolete, because we can now mail them this unit preloaded with our custom programming in it, and they can plug it into their diagnostic port, and in a matter of minutes they can reflash their ECU with a custom tune from us.
Now, how do you work out your custom tunes?
So we've got a Dynajet 250iX dyno in our house, wheeled chassis dyno, works for ATV side-by-sides, motorcycles. We specialize in mostly Polaris, Can-Am side-by-sides and ATVs, as well as Indian motorcycles. So we take them in, we strap them down, we use our years of experience to test and tune and make adjustments and maximize the power delivery and the reliability and the performance of your machine.
But just like with a muscle car, if we're going to upgrade our power, we might have to upgrade some components. So Absolutely. How do you guys handle that?
So the big thing on these machines is CVT clutching. They're belt-driven machines. They're driven by a centrifugal force clutch system. Those are calibrated with weights and springs and helixes and different components to make them run the machine at the proper RPM and at full throttle. So like I showed you before, when you go from that 100% request to 60%, from 100 to 100, you make a bunch more power. That additional power makes the engine run at a higher RPM with the current clutch calibration. So we use stuff like these adjustable weights where you can add and subtract magnets, different springs, different rates on those to control the RPM and the shift rate of those clutches to get the power delivered as efficiently as possible to the wheels and maximize the gain that you're getting from our tuning.
Get that power to the ground. Now, what if I roll out with a squad of guys? We go out on the weekends and I've got the tune. Is there a way that they can benefit as well?
Absolutely. These units can be multi-licensed, so your friends can come to us, and with the purchase of an additional tuning license and a tune file from us, they can load their machines onto your tuner and they can plug in and reflash their machines as well. These units will hold dozens of licenses at a time. They'll hold hundreds of tune files at a time, so you can swap between machine to machine anytime you want. Many times people prefer to get their own unit, not only because sometimes it's convenient just to have your own, but these units will do diagnostics and clear check engine codes. So if you have a breakdown or an issue out in the field, sometimes you can clear that code, get yourself back to camp safely. They offer 16 channels of data logging and data monitoring, and that's all data that this thing will record as well. So if you get a tune from us and you have any kind of a run condition issue or any type of question on the run quality, you can do a data log, and then you can email that log to us, and we can open that up in Dynajet's tuning software, and we can monitor all that data and recording, and we can look at that, and we can make changes to your tune and send that back to you via email.
And there are multiple tune profiles in case I want to go mountain climbing one day and go flat out another day. It stores multiple.
Yep, there is options like that. We have multiple stages of tunes as well. You know, a stock machine with stock intake, stock exhaust requires different fueling and different changes than a machine that has aftermarket cams and maybe a full dual exhaust on an Indian and a big bore kit and things like that. So.
Well, very interesting. If that is you and you're looking to unlock some power, hit them up at their website. They've got a lot going on.
The first steam-powered road-going vehicle was invented in 1769, and steam power remained popular for another 150 years. Early steam engines had boilers that had to be lit by hand, and they took about 20 minutes to build up enough pressure. Furthermore, steam-powered cars had only about a 30-minute supply of water on board. A far cry from the high-tech cars we all drive today. Keep it right here on Performance TV for more automotive tech. Performance TV is brought to you by Burromax, an electric mini bike that everyone in the family can ride. Steele Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. RockAuto.com, all the parts your car will ever need. And by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever.
Welcome back to Performance TV. So, Kathy, you're a drag racer. How fast have you gone?
230 miles per hour in the quarter mile.
230, that's fast. What have you learned there that people can learn from you?
You have to be focused. You cannot be distracted because so much is happening in a very short amount of time. You only have one other person next to you on the track when you're drag racing, but when you think about when you're out on the street, you've got people all over the place. They're on their phones. They shouldn't be distracted, and you just really got to pay attention. And if you can do that on the track, you can definitely do that out on the road.
Attention and focus. Now,
Yes.
What about mechanically? You've got a car that goes 230. What are you learning there that can be applied to a regular car?
Oh my gosh, the car has to be so safe. I mean, because of the amount of speed you're going. Wearing your safety gear, making sure you're wearing your seat belt, doing everything that you're supposed to mechanic-wise. Your tires are inflated properly. Everything is running. You've got to give yourself the best chance possible when you're on the track, and you should treat your everyday vehicle just the same because, hey, think about it. You're hauling precious cargo, like your family members, your doggies, and there's other people in the other lanes.
So take it from a drag racer. Wear your safety equipment, always have your seatbelt on, and make sure your equipment is properly maintained. Kathy, we get to play with cars every week, but there are people all around the country and all around the world that are playing with their cars as well.
Yeah, there's so many cool things to do with cars. All types of racing. You know, we talk about drag racing. You and I are both into that. But there's road racing and round track racing and show cars. I mean, that's another thing that I would really get into.
Autocross. There's something near you. What I would do is go locally and connect with some other enthusiasts. You never know what you're going to get into. If you're a little older, maybe the car show scene is for you. You just hang by your car and talk about the good old days.
Who are you talking to? Old. I like the car show.
Did I say more experienced? I think more experienced
That was
folks
better.
out there.
There we go.
And the fact of the matter is that there is something for everyone, whether it be the drag racing, you want to be doing burnouts, you want to go meet up with some other enthusiasts on a Saturday morning. There's something for everyone, but the car culture that we love so much gives a whole lot back.
Yeah, and motorcycles as well. I mean, just think about all the folks that are into the motorcycle clubs and going out on rides and raising money. I mean, there's just so many neat things to do with vehicles in general.
That is a fact. If you like the wilderness, you can hit the trails on your 4x4. There is always something. I would go to the web, I'd meet up. There are certain groups you can hang out with and certainly find whatever fits your lifestyle best. But we got to keep this car culture going. So hit it.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
So, Joe, what do you think you're going to be doing with that creeper out here in the gravel?
Well, I'm going to use this creeper to slide on this gravel and get underneath this Suburban.
Right. No, not going to happen with the wheels out here, and you're going to get stuck and whatever. Here, move that out of the way.
All right, let's get rid of this
Snag the Magic Creeper out.
antiquated technology.
That's right. And with the Magic Creeper, not only do you not have to worry about the wheels that you're not going to be able to use out here in the gravel or in the grass or on cobblestones or whatever, But you're also going to have more clearance, as Joe is going to show, to be able to get underneath the vehicle, which I'm not sure what you're going to be doing under there to this particular vehicle, Joe.
Well, I just want to slide underneath and check out the brake lines and make sure everything is nice and safe for a good friend of mine who happens to use this on a regular basis.
That's right. Just be careful what you're doing down there. But the nice thing about the Magic Creeper, Joe is going to stay clean because where he lays on the Magic Creeper, that's where he stays. The Magic Creeper is what actually moves, and it's very easy to clean should you happen to get it dirty. You don't have to worry about the gravel puncturing it because the Magic Creeper, it's pretty tough.
Everything is fine underneath the Suburban Kathy.
All right.
And I got to say, the extra clearance is what makes all the difference for me. First of all, we're on gravel. I could have never used that other creeper. I can get underneath, I can move all around. I've got total mobility, flexibility, and can see I've got extra space. Those things alone make it great. But then you can roll it up, you put it in the back of the vehicle, you keep it anywhere, you can use it as a cushion, you can use it to move heavy things.
That's right.
Covers it all.
Stadium seating, if you just want to pull it out when you're going to tailgate or whatever. Keep a Magic Creeper in your vehicle. They don't take up any space. They weigh less than 3 pounds. And if you do search around for the Magic Creeper, no. Make sure you go to their website to get the original at magiccreeper.com and even check out the cool carrying case and the safety kit.
We'll have more Performance TV after this.
The first organized auto race in the United States took place in 1895. 6 cars raced 54 miles through the snow from Chicago to Evanston, Illinois and back. Inventor Frank Duryea won the race. What was his average speed? 7, 25, 40, or 50 miles an hour? Duryea won the race in just over 10 hours at an average speed of 7 miles an hour. Performance TV coming from Borla Commerce Park.
Welcome back to Performance TV. We're here with Nikki from Clamp Tight. We've got them all laid out, tools and applications. I love this tool. Tell me about what we're looking at.
Clamp Tight tool is an extremely versatile tool. The big question we get a lot of times is which tool do I need? And it really kind of just depends on what projects. The great thing too is we've actually made the tools so you can use it for just the regular car guy, the mechanic, the true mechanic, or even like the guy that only wants snap-on tools. You want the best of the best. And that's all about the wire size that you're working with. So let me tell you a little bit about these tools. This one here is our plated steel with an aluminum body. Has stainless steel on the nose, aluminum on this body, and this is our all stainless steel tool. This one here is a really good all-around tool. You're going to use it for just about anything around the house, the car, the boat, the RV. Keep it in your car, have it with you at all times. The other great thing too is we just came out with this one. This is our mini. It's half the size as our regular tool, so it's going to get into those really tight spaces. These two will do up to 51 thousandths. This one will do up to 62 thousandths sized wire. The mini will actually do up to 41 thousandths, and 41's your really good all-around wire. You're going to be able to use that for just about anything.
So these are for applications you might find in a home, in a shop, something maybe a little more common.
Absolutely. The bigger tools, now these are going to do wire size. This one here is going to start at 62 thousandth size wire, and it actually does up to 0.125, so it does up to 9 wire. This one starts at 0.125 and goes up to an 0.04. I actually have a guy in Wyoming putting telephone poles back together when they split using that tool in 0.04.
No, I'm seeing some applications here, and I'm thinking I would never have thought to use Clamp Tight, and yet here it is and it works.
And it works great. It's like agricultural applications, you know, just oil rigs, people are using it on there. So fence posts, barbed wire fencing fits in there. So you can do just about anything. You know, even if you're just safety wiring something, you can use this tool and it's actually more secure than a regular safety wire would be.
So for people at home, how do they make the decision which one is right? And is there one that is just more universal than another?
A little bit can be about price. So they do kind of go up in price a little bit. So if you're using it just for 1 or 2 things around the house, this one or this one will do you all day long. If you're using it more often, this one here is what you probably want to use just to save your fingers and get a little more torque out of it as well.
I absolutely love it. I have learned a lot. And now we're going to kick it over to Kathy and Kevin for a little real-world application.
Well, we're over here with the Corvette, and Kevin, you guys have all kinds of tools to cover all different hoses like we're going to have underneath the hood here, and different size wire for different tools as well. So if we're taking a look at some of the things that we would need to fix or maybe want to clean up and make them look better if we're going to make a show car out of something, what are some of the things we need to keep in mind?
So most of the tools that are sitting here you can use for any of the hoses here, like if we're talking about the intakes, things like that, your coolants, any of the tools will work. The most common one is the one you have in your hand. That's what most people use because that nice T-handle there gives you a lot of torque to get on those thick rubber hoses and things like that. If you wanted to use the most common wire is a 41 thousandths wire, it'll do anything underneath the hood. I use a little bit smaller, like my 51 thousandths wire. It's great for doing your thicker hoses if you want to do it on the intake. And it's a much beefier look, so it looks a little bit better, depending on the car, especially if you're doing a muscle car or something like that. 62 thousandths is great for those muscle cars because it gives it that nice thick look. It's got that nice thick wire, but that's all about aesthetics.
Well, and you know, when we're doing something like this, there's also some areas that maybe the tool that you have to do all your other stuff, it's not going to fit in. You know how they're cramming everything under the hoods with hoses and wires and stuff going everywhere. But you guys have so many different size tools, just like what we're going to do to fix our problem that we had here on this particular Corvette, and that's the Mini.
Absolutely. This tool is perfect for getting in those tight spaces down closer into the engine. So let me go ahead and take that tool. We're going to stick our nose in just like this, wrap it around our pins on both sides, and then we twist those two together just like a bread tie. That's what locks it all down so the tool doesn't slide around everywhere.
And I noticed that when you guys are doing this, you're not really concerned about whether that part is loose or not.
Right, you're just snugging it up, and then you start turning it. So I'm in that notch, just like that, and you just start turning the tool. Now that wire is being pulled, and that's what gives us that full 360-degree seal on that clamp. That way you don't have to worry about it getting loose or anything, or coming loose in air, or in this case coolant leaking around everywhere. That's never good.
And then we're going to do that, and we're going to flip it over just like we do all of our other clamp tight tools.
Comes right off just like you saw.
Yeah, and we're going to clip that, put them down. You want to find out more about all the different clamp tight tools for different size jobs, you can go to their website at clamptighttools.com, and we'll have so much more Performance TV coming up.
The Ford Model T was the first car to achieve 1, 5, 10, and 15 million units sold. By 1914, 9 out of 10 cars in the world were made by Ford. The Model T is still among history's best sellers. But which model has sold the most? At over 43 million units sold, the Toyota Corolla is the best-selling car of all time. See how to do more for your car next on Performance TV. Performance TV is brought to you by Stage 8 Fasteners, home of the world's best locking header bolt. Locking kits now available for all turbo applications. Go to stage8.com. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977. Rush Auto Works, every vehicle we build will be a rush to drive, guaranteed. And by High Performance Lubricants, proudly made in the USA.
Welcome back to Performance TV. We've got more coming up, but I've got to get on out of here and head to an NHRA drag race. The good news is this call to the bullpen brought to you by Motorhead Garage as Dave Dobson is stepping in.
Well, that's right, Joe. Glad to step in because we have a fastball right out of the box. And if you are a Harley-Davidson rider or just a Harley-Davidson fan, you are going to love everything LEDvtwin.com. Michael, what do you have for us?
Well, we have all of our LED passing lamps, our LED 5 3/4 headlight, numerous LED 7-inch headlight. We have our tail lights. We have some of our turn signals. And we also have a really nice new spotlight system that's plug and play.
Okay, we'll dig down and talk about each of those. What we're dealing with is a significant upgrade from what comes on these bikes and then from a lot of the aftermarket stuff out there. Just a single LED bulb in this lamp, and that's just not cutting it compared to the 6 that you have.
Correct, because we do have 6 projectors. So it's going to give you about 10 times more than your factory headlight because of the projections are so big, and it's also going to give you a wider angle going down the road.
Well, they are 10 times as bright, they're 100 times better looking, and they're way cooler.
Polycarbonate lens, so it's not going to crack. If we do crack it, we do replace it. This, of course, is our 5 3/4 for all your smaller bikes. Plug and play also. A couple of our tail lights, plug and play in 2 different styles. This one has a flash with 136 LEDs. This one has large 12 5mm LEDs, so they're both bright, they're just different styles. We also have them in, the most popular one is your smoked taillight laydown with the license plate window.
So significantly brighter than what you'd have from the factory, significantly brighter from everything else out there that's aftermarket.
Correct.
And that's super important because, of course, visibility at night for the rider, but even more important on a motorcycle, the safety, because people can see you coming, which is key. And that brings us to the turn signals over here.
Well, our upgrade on the turn signals, as you can see, we've got 48 LEDs in each style. As you can see, we have 2 different styles, plug and play. So these, yet again, are going to give you about 8 to 10 times more brightness than your factory bulb, and plus they look a lot nicer.
Now talk about the sequential turn signal.
Yes, on this one here, our sequential does, instead of a full flash, which we have, this one here is a sequential, so it'll start in the middle, and then it'll sequential out to the edge. So it does a 3 before it turns all the way into a solid turn signal.
That's not just something that's more visible, it's something that gives you some style as well.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, we talked about safety and how important that is on a motorcycle, and that brings us to the spotlight.
Yes, this is our new spotlight system. Most of your spotlights, people do not install because there's a lot of hard wiring to the battery. A lot of people want to go through the bars or the crash guard, but this one here, you can go ahead and plug and play it because we have a complete harness. With goes to hot, goes to ground. You have your switch, then you also have your brackets and your hardware to install everything. This one here is really cool because it does magnify, so you can pull it all the way out to get a small beam in front of your headlight, or you can push it all the way back in.
So you can ride with these turned on, and you can also use them for trouble. If one of your buddies is stopped by the side of the road?
Yeah, and not only that, if you're not running passing lamps and you need an extra one, an extra light, these will definitely give you what you need.
And of course, you guys sell to individuals, but to dealers as well.
Yes, all of our stuff with our lifetime warranty, we have numerous Harley dealers that buy direct from us, and we're always looking for more clients.
Excellent. If you're a Harley rider or if you're a dealer, check them out at everythingledvtwin.com. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time for this episode of Performance TV. Joe and Kathy will be back next week. Same time, same sandbox. In the meantime, if you have something you'd like to see on our show, why don't you email Jeff at masterstv.com. See you next time.